What's up guys, it's Humphrey. So the metaverse, it's coming, but what is the metaverse? Recently, Mark Zuckerberg announced that Facebook would be changing its name to Meta Platforms or just Meta, and that the ticker symbol would be changed to MVRS on December 1st. He then put out an hour-long video on how he envisions what the metaverse is going to look like and how augmented and virtual reality are going to change the way we experience the digital world. The metaverse, in his vision, is where the physical world would meet the digital world, and we're going to talk about exactly what that means in today's video. Now, whether or not you think this will actually happen is one thing, but given that 10,000 employees or 20% of Facebook's workforce is working on AR and VR devices, the reality of such is probably going to come true. Facebook also seemingly has an unlimited amount of money, so Facebook has been estimated to be spending $5 billion per year on metaverse-related development, and also acquired Oculus back in 2014 for $2 billion. That's a lot of money over the past 7 years. I personally do think that some version of the metaverse will eventually come into existence. It's not a matter of if, just more of a matter of when. While the metaverse in general is not owned by Facebook, clearly Mark is trying to stake claim of it by changing the company's name to Meta. So today we'll go into detail on what the metaverse actually is, what it'll look like, and we'll also cover how to get in early into different ETFs and stocks that could play a big role in the eventual metaverse. Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Okay, so let's dive right into it. What exactly is the metaverse? I'll try to explain it in the most simple way that I can with visuals. The metaverse can be best described as the next major iteration of the internet. Just like how the mobile internet was built upon the traditional internet from the 90s and early 2000s, it's basically a world of endless, interconnected virtual worlds where people can work, socialize, and play using VR, augmented reality, and other devices. There are a few main features of the metaverse that we should call out. Number one, there will be no limits or lengths. The metaverse will never be off. It'll never be down for maintenance, updates, or server restarts. People will be able to log in or out whenever they desire without ever having to load or save their data. Everyone will experience the metaverse at the same time and live synchronously. The closest analogy I have for you is that back in 2019, Fortnite held an in-game concert where if you logged in at the time, you could go see the DJ Marshmello play a virtual set. The entire game, everyone that was playing at that time could be sharing that same experience. Now, if you happen to be on a voice chat with your friends at the time, it's like you were all experiencing a Marshmello concert together. The metaverse aims to be something similar to that, where everything takes place in one instance and millions of people will be able to interact with each other in a digital/physical world. The second major feature is that there will be an economy, so with so many people spending time in this digital AR and VR world, both businesses and individuals will be able to sell goods and services within the metaverse. Think of your favorite brand selling digital goods within the metaverse, like for example, Louis Vuitton might be selling a digital bag that your digital avatar can hold. I'm sure users will also be able to create their own small businesses too within the metaverse. So for example, a popular business started in almost every type of online multiplayer game is usually a user-ran casino. So in this way, attention is being monetized, and the more attention that goes into the metaverse, the more opportunities for transactions are going to happen. The third feature is that there's going to be unlimited potential for user-created content. So while there will certainly be corporations and businesses creating experiences and content within the metaverse, individual users will have a large influence over the majority of the metaverse's content. A user-created content model also allows the metaverse to be highly scalable and always be relevant to the latest trends. In addition to user-created content, many companies such as Nike and Microsoft have already jumped aboard the growing hype surrounding the metaverse. In late October, Nike filed 7 trademarks with the US Patent Office for basically downloadable virtual goods, retail store services featuring virtual goods, non-downloadable virtual footwear, etc. So we can already see some institutional adoption from companies for digital goods within the metaverse, and that actually brings me to my next point, number 4, which is everything will be compatible and span both the digital and physical environments. So augmented reality and virtual reality are going to be crucial parts of the metaverse. Now, what comes to mind right now is Amazon's AR View. With Amazon's AR View, customers can preview products in their home virtually before they complete their purchase. This concept isn't so foreign to us right now, but it could be very well present in the metaverse. Another interesting application is that in the metaverse, goods will be tradable with other goods using the same platform, regardless of community or branding. For example, imagine a universe where you could trade something like a valuable Fortnite skin for something something that goes in your digital home, maybe like a digital couch. Basically, all barriers are going to be brought down, and that's what the metaverse is about. All right, so now that you know a little bit about the metaverse, how can we invest in the metaverse, especially now because it is still quite early. The metaverse is probably still a few years away, but there are going to be companies and stocks that are going to be vital to its growth. First, let's talk about the market opportunity. Now, according to Bloomberg Intelligence, the global metaverse market could reach $800 billion by 2024. Now, you can also add on the opportunity of metaverse infrastructure in the market opportunity. So firms such as Roundhill Investments project a 2.5 trillion opportunity by 2030 if you add all those together. To give you some context here, the entire energy category has a market cap of $2.95 trillion, and the entire real estate market is worth about $1.8 trillion. Whether or not the metaverse actually grows to that big of a size, time will actually tell. We're not too sure. There are two main ways of investing into the metaverse for now. Number one, you could invest in the content creation side, or the infrastructure side of the metaverse is number two. If you're looking for an easy, all-encompassing investment into the metaverse, you could just buy an ETF. So I know that Roundhill Investments offers an ETF called the Meta ETF, which is designed to offer you exposure to companies that are actively involved in the metaverse. Now, in terms of the typical companies that the ETF is buying into, some include infrastructure companies, for example, Cloudflare and Nvidia, or gaming engines for virtual worlds, such as Unity and Roblox. So if you're bullish on just the metaverse in general, you could look into the Meta ETF. Their expense ratio, however, is quite high at 0.75%. Since this ETF launched just this year in June, we are actually not too sure of how it's going to be doing in terms of performance quite yet. If you would like to invest in this space though, another easy alternative you have is just to look at what the Meta ETF invests into and pick and choose selective stocks that could fit into your overall investment thesis and portfolio. So let's actually go through two stocks that I think that are worth highlighting that you could look into for the metaverse specifically. Now, by the way, this whole video is a condensed version of a weekly Patreon post calling out different types of investments and explaining the metaverse further. So if you are interested in reading that entire article, the link will be in the description below. I've made it public and for free to anyone watching this video. The first company I want to talk about is Matterport. So Matterport is a leading spatial company that digitizes the real world. Their current business revolves around capturing real estate with cameras, digitizing the data, and then turning those data into 3D models. Realtors can then use these models and showcase them to clients without ever having to step into a home. One of the biggest challenges that the metaverse is going to have is the need to digitize and import every physical aspect of the real world into a virtual environment. So that's where Matterport comes in. It could be one of the biggest players in the metaverse space within 10 years, as it currently dominates the growing market for the 3D digital transformation of the physical world to the digital world. So unless a competitor just comes along and does it better, I don't see Matterport being matterless, as in it won't matter anymore. Okay, dumb joke. Matterport already has a portfolio of 38 patents and 28 pending patents, so any new competitors will have a very hard time entering the industry. Matterport currently generates 52% of their revenue through SaaS, or subscription as a service, and a strong component of Matterport is its diversified customer base. With less than 10% of their total revenue derived from the top customers and 330,000 customers across all verticals, Matterport's revenue is not heavily weighted by any specific customer. Matterport currently has deals with companies like Redfin, Century 21, Airbnb, Hyatt, Nationwide, Autodesk, and the list goes on. Now, one cool note of the recent earnings call on November 3rd was that Matterport actually does indeed have a partnership with Facebook, aka Meta, and Matterport is partnering with Meta AI Research to develop AI systems for the physical and digital world. Now, the story of Matterport becomes a little bit shaky when looking at their valuation. With a 52 price to sales ratio and a market cap of $4.9 billion, Matterport is already an extremely highly valued company. The $4.9 billion market cap compared to its trailing 12-month revenue of $105 million is a lot of valuation for a little bit of earnings. Now, according to one of their investor calls, there is a projected $240 billion addressable market, and they believe that they've only penetrated about 4% or a little bit less than 4% penetration. Now, in terms of their earnings call, which I did mention a little bit earlier, Matterport actually had slight misses on their EPS and their revenue. Now, as a result of those earnings, they actually did start trading down after hours about 6%. So even though they had a bad earnings, if you are bullish on Matterport for the long term, that could actually be a buying opportunity. The next stock you could look into is Unity. So Unity offers software where developers can create and monetize their games on 20 different platforms, including Windows, Android, iOS, PlayStation, and more. Approximately 60% of AR and VR games are currently created on the Unity platform. While the majority of their revenue comes from the gaming industry, industry, Unity is looking to expand into other industries. In the second quarter of 2021, Unity acquired Metaverse Technologies, which is a 3D optimization software company. The acquisition means that professional creators can actually more easily and quickly import 3D data into Unity and optimize the models for real-time development. Now, Unity has some valuation and profitability concerns. Currently, Unity generates revenue like crazy, basically increasing year over year up and to the right as this graph shows us. Their gross margins remain high at around 80%, but their net and operating margins are in the red because of R&D costs. Basically, they're spending a lot of money on investing in themselves, which is probably a good thing, but in the short term, their metrics may look poor. While they might not make a profit for some time, Unity has a cash cushion of around $1.6 billion that they can use to cover the losses in the meantime. Now, regarding the valuation, the stock currently reflects high growth expectations with a price to sales of 39, enterprise value to sales of 44, and a price to book of 21.3. It's currently trading a little bit at a high premium when